Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to a brand new league racing video on F1 2021. Today we are racing in WOR around Mexico. I just got home from the UK. As you might know, I currently live close to Brackley at the Mercedes factory. So that's why I did not live stream this, because all my streaming equipment was over at Mercedes. I'm working on getting separate equipment at home. So next video I will have a new camera, very nice one, much better than previous one before, and also a new mic, which I already have, but I just don't have the camera yet. So didn't live stream this. These are the highlights from round 9. As you can see here, the standings, we are not in the top 10 as I've only done one race, which I managed to win. That was Spa. Today we're heading to Mexico. On the right you can see the calendar, which is not correct anymore because of the real life changes on the F1 calendar, and the F1 esports calendar has changed a little bit as well. So we, I think, just behind Antoine, I think in P11 or P12 after that one race win. As now we are doing our Q1 out lap. You can see I've done a lap on the intermediates just to check if everything is correct. And now we're looking to get into Q2 on one lap, or one set of tires basically. This was going to be very hard. I literally did 2 Grand Prix mode laps because I just got home from the UK minutes before this. And I had to drive on the same type of rig but different monitors. And you know, if you jump from one to the other rig, even though they're the same rig, same pedals, it will feel quite a bit different. I even had to change some wheel settings mid-session because I wasn't very comfortable with them. So this is my first lap in Q1 on a dry set of tires. So just gonna try and bring some temperature into those tires and then start a lap for the first time around Mexico. So yeah, as I said, very limited practice done, so the setup is not going to be very good. My driving is not going to be very good either, with such a little amount of practice, only 2 laps as I said. But into turn 1, very long run, as you guys might know. Into turn 1, top speed 326 kph as we head into turn 1 down to 3rd gear. And then this is so tricky. I actually got it right on that apex there, a little bit of oversteer on the exit. And now into sector 2. I think this was a pretty decent first sector. You can see 28.1, 1.2 tenths faster than Chassou Ghost. And I got a little bit of understeer through there, but very solid start to the lap so far. But it's gonna be hard to nail that middle sector section, which is very fast and very easy to invalidate as well. So need to be careful I don't invalidate and just get a good banker on there. So we can work from there basically. Even if we're not fast enough, we can maybe do something later on in the session. Middle sector, 3.5 tenths up on Chassou Ghost. And remember, we only need to get into the top 15 to make it into Q2. Down to 2nd gear, up to 3rd. Took a little bit of too much curb on the inside there, not ideal. And then up to the line, it's gonna be a 114.069. Nice. And that brings us to P4. Later on in that Q1 session I decided to go out again on the same set of tires but with different wheel settings and see if it was going to be an improvement, and it was. Same set of tires, so it should be slower, but I'm up on my time. You can see almost 1 tenth up. Tires are of course falling away a little bit in that last sector, which basically completely relies on mechanical grip. Up to P8 we go. So happy that I got an extra lap in this Q1 session. Those tires are going to be absolutely done of course after 2 push laps, but it was well worth it because I need all the track time I can get in this quali session to prepare myself for Q3 basically, and also for the race. So this is kind of a little bit of a practice session for me to try and prepare myself for later on in this quali. As you can see here, John Evans in P1, he only did 1 lap, so I think most people in the top 5 only did 1 lap. We got P8 there. Championship leader Jake Benham in P6 with a 113.954. I have no idea who didn't make it. I think main one I remember was Flores Wires who didn't make it, but other than that I don't remember. Now into Q2. As you can see here, we are on the medium compound tires, and the reason for that is because rain is coming halfway into the race, and if we start on the softs we won't make it halfway into the race. So that's why we are out on the mediums, to try and basically make these tires last from the start of the race until it starts raining, because that will gain us a pit stop. Usually the strategy around here is medium, soft, soft, but now it's looking like medium to intermediates. And I had no experience on these tires, so this was my first push lap on the mediums, and it wasn't going to be an easy one. Definitely, I filled up for 2 laps in case I need another one. Of course, ideally I only want to do 1 lap on the set of tires you're going to start a race on, but just in case I needed it, I wanted to do 2 laps. Now you can see there, that's a delta to my used tires. I went out to the start of the session, put on a lap, but invalidated it on purpose, so I wouldn't have to start a race on it if I couldn't beat it on this medium lap. Up to the middle sector, it's going to be a 55.776, 4 tenths up on Jake Benham. And into the final sector, this is very reliant on the mechanical grip, and that was very, very sloppy. Massive oversteer moment, that definitely cost us 2-3 tenths, and up to the line, it's going to be a 1:15.0 and we are P8. And still a lot of people need to set their lap time, so I decided to keep on pushing and hope I could improve maybe a few hundreds somewhere and snatch a few positions away. And now we've dropped down to P9, so we need to improve on this lap, because otherwise we're most likely going to be out of Q2. And again, big moment of oversteer, and now we're 2 tenths down on our previous lap. We know there's a lot of time in the last sector, but this is just not very ideal. Still 700 up on Lenny Pepinter. But very poor lap so far, and still a lot of people on laps. The time has not even hit 0 yet. Still 20 seconds to go. Luckily for me, a lot of people decided to go out early on the mediums, so quite a few people have set their laps yet, but there are definitely still people out and improving on the lap. Again, a little bit of oversteer to that middle section, 2 tenths down. As I head into the final sector, I decided to back out because I was not going to improve enough to try or to gain positions, because I made a mistake in the final few corners basically, but I was already 2 tenths down, so there was no way I was going to make that up. So I decided to back out, save my tires. I cut that last sector a little bit because there was a guy very close behind me and I didn't want to distract him, so that's why I cut that inside. But now it's going to be very exciting to see if we have made it into Q3. Thomas Harvey still on the lap, he's on the softs, and everyone behind him has aborted their run and is not going to improve. So we are going to be P10 probably if Thomas Harvey improves. He does. We drop down to P10, but no one is going to be able to improve on us, so that means we go into Q3. And crucially, championship rival, or well, championship leader, I'm not sure if I can really say championship rival because there's not that many races to go, but championship leader Jake Benham out in Q2. So if we still want to fight for the championship, even though we're like 75 points behind, then this is a good opportunity to gain some good points. But it's not going to be easy to catch up to Jake. But now we have to concentrate on our own quali again. Fast people in this quali session, or at least fast people I expect in this quali session, are going to be John Evans. Thomas Harvey was looking pretty decent in previous Q1 and Q2 sessions, so I really think John Evans is going to be the main guy to beat her. He was P1 in Q1 and on the top in Q2, and our first lap was a 1:13.8, good enough for P4. I filled up to do 2 push laps in case I need it, but the tires don't really tend to last for 2 laps. Also you struggle with ERS, so it's not really worth to go for 2. But onto our final Q3 lap, I decided to only fuel up for 1 lap. You can see 28 seconds remaining. I wanted to have that pole position, so I went all in. New set of tires. Thomas Harvey goes to P1 with a 1:13.591, almost 3 tenths faster than us. But remember, we have a lot of practice and we can still improve a lot. Now down to P5 because Thomas Harvey overtook us. Thomas, a bit close there for comfort, but we managed to nail the section, even though we probably got a little bit of dirt here maybe. I was trying to get a little bit of a sneaky slipstream of Thomas Harvey. Now into to the next left-hander. We are gonna be half a tenth up on Chana Kinsey, 1.1 tenth up as we go to the next right-hander. This is definitely not over. Through the next right-hander again, still 1 tenth up. We need to basically gain another 2 tenths if we want to get pole position here, down to 5th gear. And we got that one so nicely on the limit and so nice and balanced out through there. Same for this fast section, and that's crucial because now the tire temperatures are low into the final section. Down to 4th gear, nice rotation through there, short shift to 5th, and now try to not lock up the left front. Down to 2nd gear, short shifting to 4th. A little bit of a wiggle on the exit, but we can see there we are 3 tenths up coming out of the final corner. It's going to be so close for pole position up to the line. It's P1, just ahead of Thomas Harvey and John Evans. Just about managed to pip both Red Bulls at the end of Q3 there. We were basically nowhere all qualifying long. John Evans is still in the lap, but he backs out, and that means we've got pole position for the 2nd time in a row in WOR. And I was nowhere all quality session. Q1 I was nowhere, Q2 I was only P10, and then in the final lap of Q3 I managed to hook it up and get P1, which is a good feeling, not gonna lie. As you can see there, 200s out of Thomas Harvey, 400s out of John Evans, and I'm just checking sector times real quick. I think I was really fast in the first sector compared to Thomas Harvey, so maybe different setups. Maybe I just got a chicane very nice. I think I really hooked up that chicane very nicely. You can see no track limits, but fully cut the inside of turn 2, which you need on this game to be fast. So onto the race now. As you can see there, rain around lap 25? It's hard to say, but I'm not sure what exact lap it's gonna be, of course. Not sure if the tires are gonna make it into that lap. So that's all very much a question. I had no idea how much fuel to put in as well, so I just rolled with 36.5, which probably would be too little if it was a complete dry race, but of course it's going to turn wet. You can see start with light rain and then full wets later on, and then back to light rain again, but as you guys might know, you can never really trust that. So we're just going to have to roll with it and see what's going to happen on track around lap 20 and just feel what's going to be the best decision. It's not going to be easy, of course, because 1 lap too late or too early and you might lose seconds. So gonna be crucial to pit at the right moments. Thomas Harvey in P2 starting on the softs because he went his fastest lap in Q2 was on the softs, and he's not gonna make it with a 0 stop until the rain basically. So I expect him to be in trouble. I expect him to overtake me at the start, and I'm just gonna let him go basically because there's no point in fighting him. He's not in a race if it indeed starts raining around lap 20. Even for us it's going to be hard to make it until lap 20 probably without making a pit stop. But now into the race we go then. Starting P1 ahead of Thomas Harvey and John Evans. Long run into turn 1, 5 red lights, and away we go for the Mexican Grand Prix in WOR round 10. Off the line we go. Managed to get a decent start compared to Thomas Harvey, but now John Evans is going to get a slipstream into turn 1. We try to cover off John Evans a little bit by making ourselves really wide together with Thomas Harvey. Now I took that sausage grip really awkwardly and it cost me a lot of time, and now on the exit a lot of oversteer as well, and now because I got a poor exit, John Evans managed to overtake us. He's around the outside here, but that's going to turn into the inside for the next right-hander. There's Thomas Harvey a little bit of a lack moment there. John Evans leaves us the room on the exit, and now I'm going to have to let him go here because I already used a lot of my ERS. You can see down to 64% just after 1.5 sector basically. So now Thomas Harvey is going to pull away, and we're just going to have to play it smart together with John Evans for the rest of this first stint. Don't want to push too hard on those tires because we have to make it to the rain in case it comes very late. We don't want to get a puncture or have to make a pit stop. So I'm gonna save my tires in the next few laps and just see what's gonna happen, what Jeff is gonna say, and go from there basically. So we now go on to the end of lap 3.
15 minutes. Dry seem like the fastest tire at the moment.
You can hear Jeff say expecting rain in around 10 to 15 minutes. So 15 minutes should be around, well, let's say between 10 and 15 laps. It's always not very precise, so We need to take it with a grain of salt, but let's still aim for the lap 20 more or less. I think that will be a good benchmark. We're getting DRS once again. I didn't really manage to save my ERS because John Evans was trying to keep up with Thomas Harvey to stay in the DRS, but those softs were just too fast at the start. But they will start dropping off a little bit in the next few laps. So I'm just going to continue to try and recharge my ERS a little bit and keep saving my tires just in case we do need to go to that lap 20 until it starts raining. Moving on to the start of lap 6. Once again we're getting DRS, and you can see I managed to recharge my battery a little bit up to 80%, and I decided to go for the move, switch around with John Evans and play it smart. If I stay behind John Evans, then we will be at risk probably of semi-bright, so you need to switch around a little bit to help each other stay a net P1, P2. Of course you want to win the race, but if P3 or net P3 overtakes you, and yeah, then basically you're gonna have a huge disadvantage. So you always want to work together a little bit with the leader, even though he's not in your team, because that basically will just help yourself a lot, even though you're helping the opponent a little bit as well. You know, sometimes you need to work together a little bit with the opponent, which is what we're doing now. Now it's my time to push a little bit and stretch our legs. I'm not going to push the tires too hard, of course, but we do have that decent ERS margin we can play where you can see into the stadium section we've got 92%, and we're going to recharge even more into the final corner, so 96% as we go on throttle, and Thomas Harvey is now 3.5 seconds ahead, as we set our personal best of the race. Now moving on to the end of lap 10, we've gained quite a bit of time back to Thomas Harvey, so his softs are starting to drop off, but not super aggressively, to be fair. You know, considering it was 3.5 ahead and now it's 2.1, as now he's gonna come into the pits for, I reckon, a new set of softs, and then push as hard as he can, try to make up that pit stop. He's gonna lose, but I very much doubt he will be able to fight for top 5 or podium this race, because a pit stop is around 20 seconds usually, on average, depends per track of course. So basically if it starts raining lap 20, he's gonna have to gain 2 seconds per lap for 10 laps straight, and you know, that's not looking very likely because the softs will drop off, of course. We might be able to do it for a few laps, but then he won't be able to keep up that pace. Now moving on to the start of lap 15.
What's the conditions? We think there's rain coming pretty soon. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Jeff, just saying rain is coming pretty soon and that dries are the best for now. So that's absolutely useless information, but we roll with it. We're still P1. You can see I'm pushing a little bit because basically when it starts raining it becomes a lot harder to overtake. So I want to be P1 once I pit for intermediates, because after that it becomes really hard to overtake. So I'm pushing hard now, and stretch your legs. Use the tires we have saved in the past 15 laps. You can see rear tires are dropping a little bit with a little bit of wheel spin, even though we were in 4th gear, and short shifting a little bit. So gonna absolutely squeeze the juice out of these tires until it starts raining, and I will do the same for the battery. Of course, once we pit for inters, the battery will recharge again a little bit anyway, but most important for now is that we stay in P1 until it starts raining. And at the moment it's not raining yet, so I need to be careful with that battery, because once we run out, it's gonna be an easy pass for John Evans, as he's getting DRS again on the main straight.
Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
And now it has started to rain a little bit at the end of lap 17. You can see going into the next right-hander, grip has started to fade away straight away, so I went a little bit wide, lost some time as well. I just couldn't make the corner. I was locking up, and that cost me definitely around 2/10. I don't feel like it's time to pit just yet, but next lap it definitely will. So now I'm going to use all of my battery possible to stay ahead of John Evans on this lap, and then once we come out of the pits, our battery would have recharged a little bit, and you know, in the wet it's a lot harder
Receive you at the end of this lap.
to overtake anyway. As you can see me there, box this lap for intermediates. Even though it's not wet enough just yet, I know at the end of this lap it will be wet enough, and we will have to make the pit stop. John Evans very close there, as I'm staying off the curb.
Seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Slicks in wet conditions, plus curbstones are very slippery. Again, a lock up through there. Seems like I'm struggling a lot more than John Evans in these conditions. A lot of wheel spin again through there. John is absolutely all over us.
Strategy option.
As Jeff is saying intermediates now as well, so that just confirms it. Through the middle sector you can see I can barely put on any steering lock through here. And now the asphalt is looking a lot more wet than last lap as well. So boxing this lap for a brand new set of intermediates. Our teammate Eduardo, I think, as I made the same mistake almost, managed to keep it within the white lines again. But again, a little bit of a lockup, and it cost me a lot of time. But now we're gonna have to box for Inters. Our teammate Eduardo is gonna have to wait for us probably, because I think he's down in P8. Into the box now. I need to make sure I don't speed. You have to turn and brake, and in these slippery conditions that makes it tricky. I need to lock up and go into the pit wall. So on go the intermediates for another 18 laps more or less. So 18 laps on the mediums, so it was around lap 20. We expected it a little bit later, as I said at the start, lap 20, lap 25, so hard to say. But now coming out of the pits, DRS disabled, so it was the perfect moment to pit for those intermediates. And you see there, Jonas Rutten, previously driving on Xbox, switched to PC, I think, for the first time. So this might be his first league race on PC, I'm not sure. But he's 10 seconds ahead, and you see straight away regaining. So we've made the right call to pit there for intermediates. As I think I have one warning on my name at the moment, so I need to be careful. And you can see there on the Delta, regaining seconds per corner. So the mediums, or just the slicks in general, are just not working anymore at all. You can see just on this lap we've already gained 3 to 4 seconds, and especially through this fast section, those slicks are absolutely screaming for grip. Nothing is happening for them. They're not up to temperature, they're not draining any water, so they're struggling a lot, as he's battling with Ruben Pedreno as well. And you can see we've almost catched up to them within one lap. So we've gained almost 10 seconds just within one lap. And that just shows, if you're on the wrong tire, how much time you can lose. Jonas completely missed the exit there. I have to avoid them a little bit. But up to 100% ERS we are again, so we lost a little bit of time behind him. But we've got the ERS to defend from him. And now we are 5.7 tenths ahead of John. I just want to get into this Inter run nicely, and I want to push straight away too hard and make a mistake.
They're only getting worse. Watch out for standing water. Inters seem like the fastest tyre for now.
Because if we make a mistake, that could cost us crucial track position. So just want to warm up nicely and start pushing later on, maybe in a 1 to 2 laps time, once we get into a rhythm. As now we move on to the end of lap 22, and you can see we have extended the gap a little bit to John Evans. And just as I said a few laps ago, we're starting to get into a nice rhythm, which is just what I need on those Inters. Those Inters always feel so natural to me, and it's very easy to get into a rhythm for me and just pump in lap after lap. And you can see in the next few frames how much time we're gaining every lap on John Evans in this intermediate run. Remember, the gap was 5 tenths coming out of the pits, and at the end of lap 23 to 1.8 seconds. Lap after is almost 2.4 seconds. Lap after that 3.2, and I'm just getting 7 to 8 tenths to, I think next lap was even more.
Check your MFD for a new
almost a second
option
on this lap. And as you can hear Jeff say there, a new strategy option. He's opting for the wets.
To stay a while. Doesn't look like it's moving anytime soon.
And as Jeff said, wets were better, and the conditions were not going to change, going to stay full wet. I decided to box on this lap because see, the front tires are just not gripping up anymore. So I felt like boxing for wets was going to be the best option if it was going to stay full wet for the rest of the race. So boxing for full wets. Some others have made the choice to go for full wets as well. You can see a lot of people with penalties. So worst case scenario, regaining a lot of time to the leaders but not catch up in time, and then we will still get P2, because you can see all those people have penalties apart from Shizu Ghost. He's driving a very nice race, so GG to him. think he was out in Q2, if I remember correctly. So he's having a solid race so far.
Heavy rain will be staying with us for a while now, at least a 20-minute window of heavy rain. Full wets seem like the best tyre for now.
As you can hear Jeff say there, full wets for at least 20 minutes, or at least heavy rain for 20 minutes, which I felt like full wets were going to be better. So now we're going to have to push as hard as we can and make up time, because we've lost 20 seconds, of course. We had that 4 or 5 second advantage to John Evans. So in around 9 laps time, we need to gain 15 seconds, which should be just under 2 seconds per lap. So that's definitely possible if the wets stay fast enough every single lap. And it should be possible. We've gained already like half a second to Shizu Ghost, and if it stays full wet, it's only going to get more wet in this race. So I'm just going to give it my all and try to catch up to the leaders again. Now on to the end of lap 30, we've caught up to Shizu Ghost in basically 1.5 lap time. So very good few laps on those wets. You can see I have so much more grip through this final section of the lap. And I'm going to try and have an attempt at overtaking Shizu Ghost on the main straight. And then hand down Eduardo Leo for P3. Well, that's a 6-second time penalty, so we're looking to get a place anyway. But now on the exit, we're looking to get Shizu Ghost. It's going to be a track race down to turn 1. You can see we're going side by side. But of course we're going to have a lot more grip braking into turn 1. Now 6 laps remaining in this race. And John Evans is still like 10 seconds ahead, so we really have to get a move on here if we want to win this race. And it needs to stay wet, full wet of course, because otherwise we're not going to make it. Currently, I already felt like this was the wrong decision, because we're not catching fast enough. Sometimes if it's full wet, you're gaining 5 seconds per lap to intermediates, and that's currently not happening. So it's not full wet, I feel like. But we just have to keep on pushing, try to catch up to Eduardo Leo and see and go from there. Now 2 laps later, we've already caught up to Eduardo Leo. So in 2 laps time, we've gained around 3 to 4 seconds to him. And at this moment in time, I started to finally get some hope again that I could still win this race, because if we could keep gaining 2 seconds per lap, then we are still in for the win. But we have to get past Eduardo really fast if we want to. And as I said many times earlier, it has to stay wet. And currently it looks like it's not raining as hard anymore. Or at least that's what I felt like. So you can see there Eduardo missing the apex a little bit. But if it indeed is drying up, then we just need to try and hold on to a net P2. Because you can see on this lap already, we don't really have a pace advantage anymore.
Like it's going to be getting much lighter over the next 10 to 15 minutes. There should be more grip, but don't expect a dry track. Full wets seem like the best tyre for now.
As you can hear Jeff say there, rain is getting lighter, and that's not what he said initially. Freaking Jeff, man. But yeah, we are basically getting 2 seconds per lap, and it just stalled at the start of lap 33. And that's just because it's getting lighter again. So we just have to make sure we don't overheat these wets. And I feel like at this moment, if we don't have a pace advantage anymore, we just need to stay behind Eduardo, not overheat our tires. I think that's the main objective I had at this moment. And just accept that I was going to finish P2, because
forecast suggests the rain is going to be lightening up over the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. You should start finding more grip as we clear the standing water. Full wets seem to be the fastest tyre for now.
Even though Jeff says full wets are the fastest tyre, the wets are pretty bad on this game. So, you know, even if it's full wet conditions, you're not gaining that much time compared to an intermediate. So, yeah, we've just stalled or catch up to John Evans. We're dropped a little bit to Simon Perigini, I feel like, but John doesn't have a penalty, so we would have to get him on track if I want to win this race, and at the moment we can't even get past Eduardo, let alone getting past Simon and getting past John as well, and we're running out of time as well. So at this moment in time, I just want to stay within 6 seconds of Simon Perigny and get P2, maximize the points for the championship. Even though we're looking very unlikely to win the championship, we're still going to try, of course. It's not over until it's mathematically not possible anymore. Now in the final 2 laps, I had to give up a bit of time because simply the wets, you can see through the final corners here, lost half a second. The wets are just not working anymore at this moment. John Evans comes across the line to win the race. We come across the line to take P2, P4 on track, but actually P2 because of penalties. Shizu Ghost in P4, Simon Perigny in P3, Eduardo Leo in P5. Jake Benham is going to take P6 as Sam crashes across the line. So Jake Benham, championship leader, takes P6. 8 points for him, 18 points for us. John Evans with the full 25 points. GG to him. Very good job. Tom Martinez in P9. Oh, actually P10. Thomas Harvey P9 after having to make an extra pit stop to another set of slick tires. That was unfortunate for him after such a good quali session. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this WOR race. Make sure to like and subscribe if you guys want to see more league racing videos. There's not going to be WOR for a while because of Real Life F1, which is also on Sunday night. So it clashes with the original WOR timings. So I think there's like a 2 or 3 week break, but loads of other content coming and planned. So no worry, start of season 3 of career mode is coming as well, I promise. Sorry for the delays on that, but F1 Esports and traveling back home and getting the right equipment is all quite a lot. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe if you guys want to see more. And see you guys next time. Ciao.